Moving into my new apartment was supposed to be a fresh start. A new chapter in life, free from the burdens of my past. But from the moment I stepped into that dimly lit hallway, I felt something was wrong. The landlord had been oddly eager to hand me the keys. He barely made eye contact and brushed off my questions about the previous tenant. Cheap rent in a nice area, I told myself. I should be grateful. But the eerie silence in the building, the way the air felt thick with something unseen, sent a shiver down my spine. That first night, I tried to settle in, arranging my furniture, hanging a few pictures, and making the place feel like home. But the atmosphere remained unsettling. The apartment was cold, unnaturally cold, despite the heater being on full blast. At around midnight, I heard it. A faint creaking sound, like footsteps in the hallway. I held my breath, listening. It stopped. I shook my head. Just the old building settling, I told myself. But when I turned off the lights and crawled into bed, I could have sworn I heard whispering. Sleep was difficult, restless. Shadows seemed to move in the corners of my vision. I convinced myself it was my imagination, exhaustion playing tricks on me. On the third night, I found it. A crumpled note stuffed inside the frame of my bathroom mirror. My heart pounded as I unfolded the yellowed paper. The handwriting was rushed, desperate. If you're reading this, it's already watching you. Don't look into the mirror at 3 a.m. Don't sleep with the lights off. And whatever happens, don't answer the knock on your door after midnight. My stomach twisted into knots. Was this a joke? A prank left by the previous tenant? I wanted to dismiss it as nonsense, but something about the message made my skin crawl. I placed the note on the kitchen counter and tried to shake off the unease. It's just a stupid prank, I muttered. But deep down, I wasn't so sure. That night, sleep came slowly. Every creak of the old building sent my heart racing. The note lingered in my mind. Then, at exactly midnight, a knock echoed through the apartment. A slow, deliberate knock. My breath hitched. My rational mind screamed, ignore it. But my curiosity tugged at me. What if it was a neighbor? What if someone needed help? I slid out of bed cautiously and approached the door. My fingers hovered over the doorknob, and then, another knock. Louder this time. A chill ran through me. Then, a voice. A whisper. I know you're awake. My blood ran cold. It wasn't just a whisper, it was my voice. I stumbled back, heart hammering. I didn't open the door. I couldn't. Instead, I clutched my phone, fingers trembling as I checked the time. 12:03 a.m. The knocking had stopped. I stayed up the rest of the night, lights on, pulse pounding. The next day, I tried to convince myself it had been a dream. Lack of sleep, paranoia, my mind playing tricks on me. But the note was still there, staring at me from the kitchen counter, a chilling reminder. I made a mistake that night. I looked into the mirror. At first, nothing seemed strange. Just my own tired reflection staring back at me. But then, my reflection didn't blink when I did. I leaned in closer, breath hitching. My reflection's lips curled into a slow, unnatural smile. My own face twisted into an expression I wasn't making. Then, it spoke. You should have answered the door. A scream tore from my throat as I stumbled backward. The mirror shattered, shards flying everywhere. My chest heaved, my mind spinning. This wasn't just an old apartment with weird noises. Something was here. I packed a bag, ready to leave that night. But when I reached for the door, I froze. Deep, claw-like scratches covered the wood. Like something had tried to get in or keep me inside. A sense of dread weighed on my chest. The moment I turned my back on the door, I heard it. The whisper. You can't leave. I spun around, but no one was there. My breath came in short, frantic gasps. I grabbed my phone, calling the landlord. You never should have stayed past the third night, he said, his voice hollow. And then he hung up. Terror gripped me. I had to get out. I didn't care about my things, I just needed to leave. But the moment I stepped into the hallway, the lights flickered and died. The air turned ice cold. And then I heard it. Not just one knock, but dozens. From all around me. The doors of the empty apartments. The walls. The ceiling. Knock. 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 A voice, distorted and inhuman, whispered from everywhere at once, "You opened the mirror. Now we open the door." The last thing I remember was the sound of something creaking open behind me. And then, darkness. I woke up in a hospital bed, my body covered in deep scratches. The police found me unconscious in my apartment, the door locked from the inside. They told me the place had been abandoned for years. No previous tenants. No landlord. Just an empty apartment with a broken mirror. I never went back.